Yo, 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 yo. What is up, jabronis? Welcome back to another great edition of The Hop with Gabe and Steven. Thirsty Thursday, we're here. Independently craft beers are going to be drinking. We're going to have some fun. As always, I am your co-host, Gabriel Apria, with my boy, Steven Humes. How are we feeling?
Hey, everybody. We are back. We got beer with alcohol in it. We are ready to drink some beer. And listen, we're going to Weathered Souls. And this is a big episode. This is a company that is doing everything right. This is a company you know of, you love them. And it's also our first ever Texas brewery on the hop, which is insane. This is round 123.
Howdy.
We're hitting the great state of Texas.
This is the first time we've ever been there.
We had a meadery on the show from there. We had Meridian Hive on round 84, which is in Texas. But this is our first Texas brewery. And listen, shout all the way out to these people for sending us these beers too. Because
yes, thank you. Where's the clap?
Where's the clap? Because this episode is made possible by them shipping this to us, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to get it. So
yes, thank you, Weathered Souls. Thank you very much. It literally started as us emailing them and going, "Hey, where do we get your beer?" And they said, "Well, here."
Just
okay,
take
great.
It. Yes.
So pumped. So I've got 2 beers. Steven's got 2 other different beers. 4 beers this round. So we got to move things along, but they're all super different. They all look dope. And we're very excited. So thanks, Weathered Souls.
We got a twig. We got news and notes. We got 4 beers to drink. We got a lot to do. Let's dive in. And I'll start, as I usually do, by just telling you to check in with The Hop on social media at the HO Podcast. You can send us an email or send us an email, ask for our address, and send us beer. That's thehopod@gmail.com is where you do that. You can follow us on Spotify, on Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. You can rate and review. We appreciate everyone that's done that before. If you're listening right now, go ahead and just click that 5-star button. If you write something, we love that. But if you don't have the time for that, just click the 5-star button. We'll take that too. And find us on Facebook, all the other places, as well as YouTube. We are a video product, so if you want to check us out there, just search for the Hop, a Craft Beer Podcast on the YouTube.
Let us know what breweries to hit up next. Let us know what breweries to repeat. Let us know if you've started your fantasy football drafts. Steven and I are in a league.
It's coming, Joe. It's down.
Yes.
Okay.
Steven and I are, as always, in a league, and we're going to be drafting very soon. I think we haven't talked about this, but maybe if we both agree, the weeks we play each other, maybe we can post the winner or something. Give a little.
We usually, have
some fun with it.
If you're unfamiliar with the Hop, around this time of year, this does turn into somewhat of a craft beer and fantasy football podcast. Sorry, it's not intentional. It's just
we're not
we
mad
like.
About it though.
It's just who we are as people.
Yeah.
Let's get into the news.
Beer news.
All right, so it's that time of year for fresh hop beers, which is fun. The fresh hop season is here. Basically, that means that the hop harvest is happening up there in the Pacific Northwest, and you will start to see new fresh hop beer offerings hitting shelves in the coming months. If that's your thing, if you like those fresh hop IPAs, they's a coming.
Hell yeah.
Athletic Brewing was named the 26th fastest growing company in the United States by Inc. magazine, which is not major news, but we just wanted to give them a shout out because they were on our last episode. So good for you guys.
They came in
fun.
clutch. They're a great brewery. They grew so fast. I've never seen a brewery open and then immediately just start turning heads. So well done, guys.
And in along with the fresh hop beers, it's also that fall beer season. Kind of talked about this on our last episode, but we are seeing a ton of fest beers being debuted. A lot of those Marzens, Helles, different things like that. So don your lederhosen and grab a pretzel. It's September when this episode is dropping. Labor Day's around the corner, and it is time for Oktoberfest. So get hyped
Schnitzel.
for that.
I'm also starting to slowly see pumpkin beers, which I think is a little early, but I'm not mad about it. Pumpkin beers are good. We will have, our spooky episode and we'll feature them. But this is all new. So hit them local stores if these beers are your top priority.
Okay, in this episode of the Maui Brewing Modern Times podcast, we're going to talk about the latest development. And no, Maui Brewing has not pulled out of the deal yet.
So we know.
They have a company, they have a structure, things are moving forward. These two brands are coming together. They are going to be known as Craft Ohana. This was announced last week. The statement from the company says, as we combine these two well-respected and innovative breweries, we recognize that it is not our ambition to have two separate entities owned by a common parent company, but rather two brands operating as one company with operations in multiple states. With Craft Ohana, we pay homage to our Hawaii roots while signaling our stewardship and dedication to the craft beverage movement that has become a staple across bars, restaurants, and retailers throughout America. So, I gotta be honest, I'm not entirely clear. Those two things sound very similar to me. Like, we don't want to have two separate entities owned by a parent company. We want to be two brands operating as one company. What I'm taking this to mean is that beers are going to start coming out from Craft Ohana, not Maui Brewing in modern times.
That's what I came to the assumption as well. That's just the way it was crafted. So, I don't really know. Sounds kind of dope. Craft Ohana, it sounds like an interesting, it sounds very on brand, it sounds very right. So
sounds fun.
We'll see what happens.
I can say that there were a number of layoffs announced by Modern Times. Those people were kind of quickly scooped up on the Maui Brewing side or offered positions there. So most people will be keeping their jobs. In terms of the executive leadership, the highlights there, Jennifer Briggs, she was the CEO at Modern Times. She's becoming the CXO of Craft Ohana. That means Customer Experience Officer. Maui Brewing's brewmaster Kim Brisson-Lutz will become the VP of Operations on Hawaii. So she'll be in the Hawaii region overseeing brewing there. Maui Brewing's COO Scott Metzger is becoming the president and COO for Craft Ohana, which will allow Garrett Marrero, who is the CEO of Maui Brewing, now the CEO of Craft Ohana. He will keep doing his work focusing on long-term strategies. So
everybody moving around.
Everybody's moving and a shuffling, but most of the executive leadership has kept their positions. So it's, always good to see a merger that doesn't result in massive layoffs. I look forward to trying their beers.
Hell yeah. Okay, so this next piece of news and notes and news is happy, sad. Sad, happy.
We're going to start with the sad.
Let's get it out of the way. Mikkeller in San Diego has decided to shutter production. This is the end of Mikkeller operating their own breweries / tap rooms in the United States. They previously closed locations in downtown Atlanta, New York City. One was hard.
Downtown LA.
I'm sorry, downtown LA. I don't know how to read letters. New York City, which was tough for me. Oakland, and now San Diego after 6 years of operations. The company will continue to produce in the U.S. Obviously, they do a lot of contract brewing. They work with companies like AleSmith Brewing in the San Diego market, also on our show. They continue to operate small breweries in Copenhagen and London, folky London town. And they do a lot of contract production at De Proof Berouge in Belgium. I believe it's just brewery, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like when we had that brewery.
Brewery West. Yeah, it looks like that.
Ugh, stupid spelling. Now on to the fun part of it.
Okay, let me fade it out.
We got any fun music?
Here we go. We have... Sure.
Not what I had in mind, but not mad about it. Okay, so... it's going to make this next part
this
even
is weird.
funnier.
I'm fading this out.
Just because of what's coming.
I could give you Hawaii.
We should have gotten the theme song to the show we're about to reference, but we would definitely get sued for that.
Yeah, for sure.
They are making more Game of Thrones beer. Mikkeller already had one or two, but this one is more for the new series, House of the Dragon. They had two former dragon-inspired ales, Cyrex and
Caraxes, I think. We haven't
There we
watched the
go.
new show yet, so we don't know who these dragons are, but
We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Steven's in the middle of a rewatch
I
of
just
Game of
started
Thrones,
it.
the first show.
let me tell you something, people. It holds up. I mean, until it doesn't, but that first season, man, woo! It's still just as good as it always was. It's highly recommend. But anyway, go on.
McKellar is once again partnering with Warner Brothers, which is pretty huge, honestly. That's to get a beer out. That's pretty dope. But the Syrax Rises, that is the new one that got released. That is an IPA inspired by the Dragons, clocking in at 5.5%. And I have to say, in terms of can arts and crafts, I mean, 11 out of 10. Look at this freaking thing. It's amazing. Look at that dragon.
It's like
dope.
black and gold, and it's fire. And all three of these, the Syrax, the Caraxes, and the Syrax Rises, are like brewed with like the Caraxes is a non-alcohol option, but it's brewed with dragon fruit. And then the Syrax is a session IPA. So again, low ABV.
They make it so you can drink it while you're watching the show.
Mm-hmm. I guess dragons don't like heavy alcohol, which is weird. But sure.
Why not?
Why not? Just fun to see, you know? Because McKellar had a Game of Thrones beer back in the day. They had like one inspired by the Winter, the Night King. They had like those big bottles that we shared one.
Yes,
once.
I remember. I believe it was season 4 or 5.
Yeah,
we were living together in New York, and we would like split a bottle, but we would save them for the This was back in the day when it was like, all right, it's Sunday, 9 p.m. Fire up HBO app, rather than
which you can do right now. HBO is one of those networks that like they will hold down a weekly show. They're not Netflix where you can binge it unless you let it pile up. But
someone recently took a video of a building, and you can tell who's watching House of Dragons because the lights in the room are all the same.
Oh, that's cool. That's
hilarious.
Really cool.
And like, half the building was watching it. It's like, it's hot right now.
All right, final story. Sonic Hard Seltzer is now the official seltzer of the Big 12 Conference. Look, good for them. It's a 3-year contract. It's a exciting move for Sonic Hard Seltzer. They're in a competitive space, but we don't really care. The only basic news story here is that it's fucking football time, people, and we just wanted to re-emphasize that we got fantasy football drafts happening, and it's the preseason has come to an end. Teams are going to be playing. I am excited about it. Whether you're into college or regular football, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's back here, and Sonic Hard Seltzer gave me an excuse to talk about that for a second.
Love it. Hey, we don't need an excuse to talk about it, but yes, it's all coming together. I am doing 3 leagues this year. It's normally 2. This year I'm in a 3rd one. I don't know how many you're doing.
2 or 3. A third one remains to be seen, but I probably will throw a third one out there. And then 2 that I actually am invested in. One of which is the largest fantasy football tournament in the world. So
that's right.
That's always fun to be a part of. I love it so much.
And last but not least, a drop we love playing for a beer we hate talking about. How ironic.
This week in gross.
I do love that drop. I really do.
I also love this word, dill. The fact that we just get to mention it about a non
all the
good
time.
Sounding beer.
All
Anyway.
the time. I would say if we pooled all of the This Week in Grosses over the history of our show, the majority of them are definitely dill pickle related.
Stem Ciders is hosting a pickle party with the addition of their real dill, celebrating a salted cucumbers addition to a year-round cider lineup. Now, this isn't a beer. This is a cider, which makes it a little more terrifying.
Yeah, that's the reason it's here. I mean, this is not new. This cider first made its debut in 2017, but it's recently been added to their core lineup, which made it fall its way into the news and onto our radar, and you found your way to This Week in Gross, guys. Congrats.
Crafted with 100% fresh pressed apples from the Pacific Northwest, a salted cucumber is dry hopped with Cascade and Citra hops. Okay. It's then finished with fresh cucumber juice and sea salt. The result is a bright, crisp, refreshing dry apple cider with no residual sweetness. The perfect pairing, lol, to help drinkers cool down during the warmer months. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I'm confused because there's a difference between cucumber juice and pickle juice, I think. I mean, I do know that now. I know that pickles are just pickled cucumbers. I'm aware. I've been made aware of that, but I think that there's a difference between cucumber juice, because if you juice a cucumber, that's like fresh. Pickle juice is like that's the why brine.
Like cucumber water, like people drink that in the summertime. Yeah.
But this says cucumber juice and sea salt. Maybe the salt makes it There's no dill involved. Where's the dill?
It says real dill. I don't know. Maybe they're just throwing us off.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm sure somebody out there likes it because people like weird stuff, but this feels like cucumbers are green, apples are sweet. Those two things just don't, go together. I mean, other than green apples, those don't count. Don't look at me like that.
Cucumbers are green.
Yeah.
Apples are sweet. What is the color? Green. You mean cucumbers aren't that sweet?
No, everybody knows green has a flavor. And you're the second person I've had this argument with this week, but green has a flavor and it's bad. Nothing green tastes good ever.
Okay, yeah.
Green apples don't count. But other than that, nothing green.
I was just confused by the wording, but I got there. Yeah, okay,
green
I'll
means
give you that one.
Fresh, earthy vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, peas, green beans. Should I go on? Green is not a good color of food.
I mean, the more important thing that we have to really look into about this whole thing is why we weren't invited to the pickle party.
Well, maybe it's because they knew we wouldn't fly to Denver for it. Although
there's a pickle party in your pants and everyone's invited.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to propose a toast, I think.
Please do. We got to get off this.
Okay, let's get into it. So, there's no context needed. I propose a toast. That's it.
Great.
When you're up against the trouble, meet it squarely, face to face. Lift your chin and set your shoulders. Plant your feet and take a brace. When it's vain to try and dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. No one is beat till he quits. No one is through till he stops. No matter how hard failure hits, no matter how often he drops, a fellow's not down till he lies in the dust and refuses to rise. Cheers.
Inspirational.
Yeah, and it just sort of felt like fit with the mission of the brewery, also just the vibe of the moment. Also, Labor Day's coming up. Like, shout out to the workers and the unions out there.
Hell yeah.
And, everything like that. I just felt like we could all use a little, you got this,
Yeah, that was Edgar Allan Poe, right?
Naturally, yes. A collab with Emily Dickinson, actually.
Ah, indeed. Indeed.
All right, let's drink some beer.
All right, I would like to volunteer as tribute. I'm gonna go first.
Do it.
We have 2 beers each. They're all different, so we're gonna move right along. I don't know about you, Steven, but I'm ready to raise some hell.
Give me a hell yeah!
There it is.
I've got the Raze Some Helles. It is their Helles style lager. And it just looks so dope. It is 4.6%. No IBUs to speak of. Beer Advocate has yet to review it. Untapped gave it a 3.82. Wasn't able to find a whole lot of info, but the basis is a classic Munich style Helles. That's what the brewery said. That's what we're going with. This is it in the glass. I poured it to the tip top, so I'm going to hold it like this. For those of you not on YouTube, I would say between like a 6 and a 7 SRM chart. It's it's pretty orange. It's pretty see-through. It's not 100% clear, but like I can see my fingers on the other side. It's got a nice orangey coloring to it, and I see a lot of good bubbles, a lot of good carbonation.
Looks like a Helles. It's been a while since we had a Helles style on the show. It is, as Gabe said, a lager style German. Speaking of Oktoberfest, so that's fun. And apparently the word hell in German can be translated to like bright or light or whatever, ironically.
Really? I didn't know that.
According to the wiki. So, so all that to say, it looks like what it should look like. It looks like a Helles.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
I just took a few sniffs of it. It is the classic German style smells. However, it's got a hint of Belgium because I am getting a little bit of that like banana. You know, when we get like those Belgian beers, the banana, like that bubble gum, like that vibe. I am getting a little bit of the banana. I read a review that said it was a little smoky and malty. That may be on the taste. I'm not really getting that off the smell. I'm getting classic lager though. I'm getting classic, you know, that wheat, that malt backbone, no hops at all. It looks very thin isn't the right word, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Like it doesn't look creamy or thick.
Pale, yeah, it looks like, you know, it's a low ABV. I mean, color-wise, you're looking at something that looks more like a German-style lager, which at its worst could be like a Budweiser. Not that Budweiser is a Helles, but it's that kind of color and look. And then the hops in there tend to be something very German, like a Hallertau hop, maybe. So if that's the case, those tend to be spicier, less fruity, less of what we think of as a hoppy beer. Even though there's obviously hops in it because it is, in fact, beer.
I was able to hit the Instagram for the owner. We'll talk about him in a bit. He shared a video not too long ago. They have another version of this. Our Munich Helles, Raze Some Helles, is back, but this time in a oak-aged form dubbed Helles Fire Club.
Yes, sir.
Sounds dope, looks dope. Again, we don't have all the info, but it seems to be this beer just cranked up a notch, which is always exciting, always fun. You can follow, we'll give all the handles for the follow if you want to follow the brewery and the owner, because the owner posts just as much as the brewery page does, all about the operation and whatnot. But classic Munich style Helles. I'm ready to dive in. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers. The Helles style to me gets a bad rep with me specifically, and it's just because it's pure bias. It's just because there's a brewery that I was at once, and they tried to do a smoked Helles, and I don't know. I don't want to say that beer should never be smoked, but this shit was nasty. And so ever since then, I have given it a bit of a bad rep, but it is a good style, and I think adding some backbone to it or some sturdiness to it is not a bad idea. So I'd love to try an oak aged version because I think that could add a smokiness that maybe that other brewery was going for without smoking the beer because it was gross. But the style itself is really just a German style lager.
Right.
So.
Going off of the taste, it tastes exactly, classic Munich style Helles lager. Lager up front, good carbonation, not too much, not too little, just enough. A lot of sweetness in the back end. Green apple, maybe a little pear. The back end is just as sweet. Malty. I would disagree with smoky. I would agree with malty. I think what you just said about the oak aged version, that would give it the smokiness. Also, depending on what oak and blah 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 blah. It's got that wheat taste to it. It's very crushable, very easy to drink. 4.6%. It should be. It is complimentary of maybe a food pairing. I don't know that this would be the best bet for, it's hot outside, summertime, let's cool down. But I think, if you spend all day outside, you want to go inside, you want to, drink something, sit on the couch in the AC, grab one of these. Raising Some Hell. I really like how it sits in the palate in your mouth because it's so easy to drink, but the flavor is there and the flavor definitely kind of punches home, which is interesting. It doesn't skimp on anything, just because it's a little quote unquote thin. Thin isn't the right word, but when it comes to lager and this type of beer, it's not as thick or juicy as the rest. So it has a certain element to it, but it doesn't skimp on anything. The flavor is there. There's quenching, good carbonation, sweet. I'm surprised at how sweet it is, and I enjoy it. And a big fan over here. I'm going to raise some hell while Steven sips on his first drink.
Great. Well, I'm diving in also on the lager side, but I am going to Mexico, and I have the Grand Champion Poteet Strawberry Lager. Now, here's the can right here. It is it's showing up, which in and of itself is shocking, but
nice.
It's a 4.8% lager brewed to be, like a Mexican style lager, but it has the adjunct of Poteet strawberries. It's a partnership with a company called Garcia Farms, which is a small acreage farm in San Benito, Texas. It's the second time that the farm has partnered with a brewery, and this particular beer made its debut during a strawberry festival they have down there called the Poteet Strawberry Festival.
Perfect timing.
This is not the first time this company has brewed it, but this year it came out in June, just in time for the summer. I'm fascinated. If there's one style that doesn't get adjuncts added to it a lot, it's the Mexican style lager. Your classic Coronas or any of those kinds of things. That's the style we're in, and then we got strawberries added to it. So here it is in the glass. It is pretty. It is amber. On the SRM chart, I would put it around a 12 to 14. I will say that Beer Advocate has not rated it, but Untapped has it at 3.56. And yes, I'm drinking out of my Game of Thrones glass if you're on YouTube.
Well done.
Winter is here. What I like about the color is it's a little bit darker than you would expect. So when you're looking at like a Mexican style lager, you can kind of see it doesn't show up as well on camera, but it's got a darkness to it. It's more in the amber world, and I'm attributing that to it's kind of like a reddish hue, much like a strawberry. Drinking out of a pint glass, it poured with very little head at all. It was very, very thin, what was there, and it dissipated quickly. No retention, no lacing. I am now going to smell this beer.
It's so awesome to see when you add a certain ingredient and it changes the color of it. It's like it's got a reddish hue. It's like, well, yeah, strawberries. It's great to see that.
Yeah, and let me tell you, on the nose, the strawberries are there for sure. It's very, very sweet. It's very fragrant. It's a lot of that berry flavor. I mean, it's distinctly strawberry. It's not anything else, not raspberry, anything like that. Maybe a little bit of currant, but definitely a lot of strawberry. Some a high level of acidity coming off it to me.
Ooh, interesting.
It seems like, and then but behind that though, there's the more traditional Mexican flavors that you would expect to smell, sort of a honey, a vegetal quality like a agave or something like that. Definitely a lot of like straw and hay. The hops are not what I don't get is a lot of like citrus, like your grapefruit, your orange, anything like that. I don't get a lot of that. I do get the malty backbone, but the strawberries really dominate the aromas to me, which is just fascinating. I've never thought of this. This is crazy and great, and I'm so happy they sent this, like, of all the things.
Yeah, we want the different stuff. We like the off-brand stuff,
Yeah. I can't wait any longer. I'm just gonna dive in.
Get in there.
I'm just gonna go for it.
Mexican style lager brewed with strawberries. Not bad. The can is dope. The beer looks incredible. So I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. He's perplexed.
it's just a fascinating flavor. The strawberry is upfront. It's sweet without being syrupy. It's jam-like up front. I mean, but then you swallow it and you get the other things that you'd expect. You get the cereal and the grain. You get the straw and the hay and a slight nuttiness that's more like a vegetal earthiness that you expect from a Mexican lager. The carbonation is high. It's got a decent level of acidity again, but it's not astringent or anything like that. It's just sort of riding this acidity. It's very summer.
That makes sense.
It's refreshing in the way a sour can be refreshing, almost.
Does it taste like a lager?
Yeah, I mean, I guess behind the strawberries, yes. It's this very intriguing mix of like up front, it's like almost like a sweet beer, like a sour or something. And then behind that, you take a sip and the aftertaste is kind of like, oh, I just had a Corona. But like it leaves you with that a little bit of corn, a little bit of honey or agave, some maltiness left behind there, not a lot of fruitiness left behind there. It's unlike anything I've ever had. I'll put it that way. It's crazy and it's crisp and refreshing, and again with that high carbonation, the body is about medium bodied. It's truly very good in terms of a summer beer. This is perfect. Like this is definitely sit out on the porch and have one of these because it's intriguing, but it's very, again, refreshing, thirst quenching. Summer, distinctly summer. Wouldn't want it any other time. Wouldn't really want it with food. I'd rather just like let this do the talking.
I think strawberry does have a great place in the beer world. We put blueberries in, we put, peach pie, like we put all this weird shit in beer. I think like, why not strawberry? If you can do it right, I think there's no reason you can't.
Yeah, it's great. It's just, it's this blend of, you just don't see this kind of fruity and florality and sweetness and stuff pairing with the sort of nutty, grassy, cereal quality of a lager very often. And the way those two are dancing together is fascinating to me, but I think the end result is delicious. It's really well balanced. What else can I say? Go get one. It's great.
Excellent. We have 2 more beers to drink, but let's talk about this brewery that's
yes, sir.
So great.
Yeah, so what they're most famous for is Black is Beautiful. Let's just upfront that because
let's do that first.
Because Black is Beautiful put this brewery on the map in a major way. Obviously, we have done an entire Black is Beautiful episode. We drank 5 of them in one night.
5. That was woof. That was a rough morning, but it was so worth it. By the 4th one, we were both looking at each other like, oh boy, okay.
That was, it might be
we are human.
Even a god bleeds. It might be one of my favorite episodes we've ever done, though. It was Thanksgiving of 2020, I think. And I mean, go back and listen to it at your leisure if you would like. It was round number
early.
Yes. Round
it was
number
in the
something.
I'm pretty sure it was either in the single digits or just double digits. But anyway.
It was probably round 48. But that put them on the map. But this company existed before that. It was founded in 2016 or opened in 2016. The man behind it all is Marcus Baskerville. He is the head brewer. He is the co-owner. He had the idea with his fellow co-owner, Mike Holt. And this beautiful, beautiful brewery was born. As the story goes, I guess Marcus, he said he was in a car accident and he was going to buy a new car, but instead he took the insurance money, bought homebrew equipment, and the rest is history.
Which is so unbelievably badass. Not bad. Who needs to get around? That's why God invented Uber. So he got the homebrew kit and it just took off from there. What's even crazier is before this whole thing started, he didn't like beer. he got into beer when his older brother introduced him to it, and he developed a taste for the West Coast IPAs.
Yep.
Shout out.
Yes, sir.
And stouts. And then that was it. Once he got hooked, he never looked back, and he decided, age-old story, homebrew kit, brewing system, learned a lot. He goes on an interview and says that when he first started brewing, early days, he would drink while he was brewing. And he listened to podcasts, he read books, he read articles, and there was one article or newscast in particular that said, hey, don't do that. Keep your head straight so you can figure out the beer. And then he stopped drinking while he was making it, and then he started making dope beer, which is interesting.
I was so here for that. I was like, yeah, man, have a beer, brew some beer. Okay, I guess not.
I mean,
my bad.
Maybe once you get the hang of it, then pop a couple cold ones, but you got to get the flow. You got to get the recipe down.
I mean, we can't spend too much time talking about them, unfortunately, but I think that the main takeaway, I mean, he says that he was the first brewery in San Antonio to brew a hazy IPA, a pastry stout, and a heavily fruited kettle sour, which is probably true, but also it's really indicative of how many beers this brewery has, the kinds of beers that they have, the variety of styles. I mean, if this strawberry lager is a perfect example, and you're doing a Helles and what we're about to do, I mean, they're very experimental. If you look at their beer lineup over the years, first of all, it's a lot of turnover. There's not a lot of like core beers that keep coming back. They have a couple, but there's a lot of experimentation going on.
A lot of new stuff all the time. Yeah.
And it's a lot of different styles, different adjuncts, you know, just trying to push the boundaries of what's possible. And I think it's beautiful to see. And then, of course, Black is Beautiful. I mean, at this point, Black is Beautiful has made its way into like 20-something countries, all 50 states, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say all 50 states. It's just everyone knows about it now. And, you know, you can download the recipe. You can try it yourself. And, you know, we say it all the time. If you see one, just buy it. Even if you're not going to drink it, gift it to someone. It's
1,221 breweries and counting at this moment have brewed it. So yeah, it's including. Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's gotta be. We don't have research to back this up, but I can't. It's gotta be the most successful beer collaboration, beer for a cause thing that's happened ever in the history of craft beer. It has to be. What else is beating it out?
I mean, that's what I was gonna say. If it's not, please tell me one that's beating it. But yeah, I think this is the number one right now. And Marcus was behind it. He was the one that, you know, came up with the idea and ran with it. And here they are. And it, you know, every brewery gives their spin on it. You know, our Thanksgiving episode, we had one beer that had dulce de leche in it, and it was one of our favorites. You know, like none of them are the same. They're all different flavors and styles and stuff. So.
This brewery was named the best brewery in the United States in 2020 by Hop Culture, which is an online magazine. They also are expanding to Charlotte. So they're moving on out of the state of Texas. They closed on a 10,000 square foot space last October. Plan was originally to open the new space in April of this year. That's been moved back to the fall. But it's going to be a tap room, a 7-barrel brew house, an incubator program designed to support minorities and women looking to tap into the craft beer industry, which is awesome. It's a nonprofit that's going to work with brewers on processes, recipe tweaks, tackling educational components. Basically, they see it as evolving into basically an academy or a school for brewing with a heavy focus on increasing diversity in the beer industry, which, as if you haven't listened to us before, is a major, major tenet of what we believe in as a show. The program is also named for his grandmother, Harriet, who used to brew herself during Prohibition, which is badass as fuck. So
can we hang out with this family? I mean,
seriously,
I would love to grab a beer with this crew and just talk beer and talk brewery. It's amazing. It really is. And it's beer for a cause, man. This is not just some brewery. Oh, we got the beer and yeah, it's fun and we're drunk. No, I mean, this is why we do it. It means something. There's a purpose behind it. There's a following. There's education. There's equality for all, inclusion. You know, that's It's what we do, man.
We have to move on to the next beer. Which,
Yeah, we
but
do.
there's more to talk about with them. I mean, it's we love episodes where we do 4 different beers, but at the same time, it does make it a little tight. This brewery, there's just so much to be said about them, and
Yeah.
I can't say anything more than I'm happy they're moving into Charlotte because it will make them available in more markets. They pride themselves very much on being San Antonio born and bred, locally sourced San Antonio ingredients, all that stuff, and definitely have a heavy presence in that market. But, we would have had them on the show a long time ago if we could have gotten their beer on the coasts we live on. So I'm excited to see them keep expanding so that more people can get their beer, because it's one of the best. It's one of the best breweries.
If only someone would have hooked us up with a couple plane tickets. Anywho, let's move on. So my first beer was, as I said, quote unquote, a little thin. This is the opposite. She thick.
She thick. Okay.
She thick. Okay.
Big time.
She is THICC. I've got the Afro Blue Imperial Stout.
Oh. I'm blue. I love when we get to player.
Because I don't need a reason, but if I hear the word blue, I'm in there. The Afro Blue, it is an Imperial Stout, 11.5%. Pray for me. No IBUs to speak of. Beer Advocate has yet to review it. Untapped gave it a 4.22 on the SRM chart. Jet black, solid 40, black all the way, stouty, stout. The quote from the brewery says it is an 11.5% Imperial Stout with Tanzanian pea berry coffee roasted by What's Brewing, maple syrup, and vanilla beans. So this sounds like a chocolatey treat, if you will, of a stout. It's probably going to be thick and creamy and delicious, and I'm just so ready to get into it. So, smelling.
An Imperial Stout with maple syrup, which, if I could let me just show my cards for a second. So, what happened here was these beers showed up at my doorstep, and then it was on me to decide which beers I wanted to send Gabe's way and which I wanted to consume myself.
I'm so glad you didn't send me what you were going to drink and
really?
this. That would have been overkill. I would have been like,
No.
you
I
idiot.
knew I wasn't going to do that, but I was staring down the one you're drinking now and the one I'm about to drink, and I was like, ooh, it was a really, really impossible decision because they are so similar with one adjunct ingredient different, and you got the maple syrup, and I'm fascinated by it. I would love to try it.
Oh my God, off the smell. All right. I got to close my eyes because I got to picture everything. Vanilla. I feel like I'm a little bit of honey, which makes me think that's the maple syrup. Chocolate cake, fudge, coffee, espresso, roasted malt. Just the late night. You just had your Thanksgiving meal. Now for dessert, you break out the coffee and it's got that smell in the air. It smells sweet. It smells robust. It smells like it's going to put motherfucking hair on your chest. It smells like a winner. It smells like a powerhouse. It smells a little bit like toffee. The malts are so strong. It's just so sweet. Maybe a little bit of cinnamon. Not really. Oh, it smells like coffee that's on steroids. It smells so good.
The thing with these Imperial Stouts is that we always run into the aromas smell one way and the taste can either be that, in which case it's like a dessert stout, or it can be a little bit more subtle on the taste and lean towards the boozy Imperial Stout that it is. So it'll be interesting to see which one that is.
This shit ain't subtle at all. We got a match made in heaven. We got exactly what I said on the nose is exactly what I'm drinking. She is thick. Number one. Number two, it is creamy. It is super chocolatey. I'm talking chocolate fudge fondue. What's that? Oh, that dessert, the like a lava cake that you get with molten like ice cream, molten. Just it tastes so good. It's creamy. It's delicious. It's super sweet. It's a birthday in a glass. It's a celebration. It's dessert. And I'm going to call it a dessert beer. I'm going to do it. I'm going to call it a dessert beer. If it's not accurate, come talk to me in my office. But that's what it is. It will 100% put hair on your chest. It is boozy. The back end, like when you swallow it, it's like not all the way equivalent, but like, when you take a shot and it's got like that little bit of burn.
Boy, do I.
It kind of has a little bit of that residual effect. There's the good carbonation. The carbonation is kind of toned down, and I think that's on purpose so you can enjoy the flavors, which is check mark. Excellent way to go. But it's just, it's wild. It's interesting. It's fun. What's hilarious and ironic is, for those of you on YouTube, this is what my can looks like. I don't know if I dropped it or if something happened, but she's a little beat up, but she still works. She's still poured, and that's all that matters. She's still thick, and it's excellent in everything I want in an Imperial Stout. Do I want to drink this in the summer? Probably not, but at the same time, I kind of don't care because of how good it is, because of how chocolatey it is. It literally, to me, is liquid dessert. Silky smooth, 10 out of 10. Love it. Excellent. That's it. I'm going to drink it.
Well, I'm doing something very similar. First of all, we can blame the banged up can on the United Postal Service, UPS.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even sure if we were allowed to say it. That's why I blamed myself. But yeah,
Fuck
no,
'em.
it wasn't me.
Fuck them, honestly.
Great. Okay, great. It showed up to my door. I took it out and I went, oh.
No, it didn't go into the box like that.
No, I know. I believe you. I trust you. But
now that I
whatever.
think about it, maybe we shouldn't have said that because I think that was illegal. All right. I am drinking the
Let's
Intercontinental Stout. It is a Imperial Stout as well. It's the Team Champions Intercontinental Imperial Stout. This one is 12% ABV. IBU's nothing. Beer Advocate has not rated it. Untapped has it at 4.25. And this is an Imperial Stout with geisha coffee, vanilla beans, and coconut. So I am excited about it. This is it in the can. It's dope. It's like got wrestler
dope can.
people on it.
Oh man. So the gentleman is Marcus, and I believe the lady is their head of marketing. I'm not sure, but I know that's Marcus because that looks exactly like him.
Well, it's him with a wrestling belt in a boxing ring. And if you're not on YouTube, get on it and check it out. This originally debuted in 2019. It was a collaboration with Inu Island Ales. This version is a slightly higher ABV. That one was 11.3. This one is 12. I'm drinking out of a tulip glass. She is jet black, poured with a rich, frothy, very, very thick, dark brown head. Looked like a root beer float in the glass. It was beautiful. Had some retention, has since receded. We're running out of time, so I'm just going to dive in and smell it.
Do it. If it's anything like this one, it's going to be epic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a mocha coffee.
Oh,
like rich, thick, chocolately. I mean, honestly, pouring it out of the can, it looked like I was pouring straight up chocolate syrup. It's so thick. It's so rich
dirty
and
to me.
In the glass, I mean, yeah, roasted malt is there, but chocolate, definitely mocha, caramel, vanilla, all of that kind of stuff coming through. The coconut is a little bit subtler, but there's a lot of sweetness on this, which I think is, a mixture of that vanilla, sort of vanilla cream, whipped cream thing that I'm talking about with the coconut. It's just, it smells like a cookie or something. It's delicious. And then behind that, you get a small hint of like booziness. Like there's something there that's like, hey, I'm alcoholic.
Hey, you're going to get drunk right now.
Yeah, I can't wait to drink this, and I'm going to do it right now.
I think I would absolutely kill to get my hands on their pastry stout after these. Like, I can only imagine what that's like. I'm sure it's awesome.
This is...
Steven is on another planet.
This is a pastry stout, is a thing. Oh my God, this is like... This is so sweet and thick and beautiful, and it's a dessert beer. The alcohol, this is dangerous as fuck. The alcohol is super hidden. The coffee is there. It pairs really well with the coconut and the chocolate and the vanilla, and all these things come together. It's like literally like taking a bite of a cookie. It is so rich and viscous, and the carbonation is low, but it's full bodied and it's fudgy, and it's not that thing. A lot of these beers, like I said before, we smell a lot of smells on the nose, and then you drink it and it tastes more like a beer. This one is definitely leaning into the dessert beer, pastry stout category. It is rich. It is chocolatey. It is thick. It is a dessert. You should not drink it with any food or anything like that. You should just enjoy it. Maybe a scoop of vanilla ice cream to finish it off. It is creamy. It is rich. It is dense. It is delicious.
Now, let me ask you, would you do a scoop of vanilla ice cream in the beer?
I mean, I wouldn't. That's scary, but also I wouldn't say no to it. Why not? Give it a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, this beer is like genuinely, it feels like if you cooked it down, you'd have a syrup of just like,
oh man,
chocolate. It's so, there's molasses that it's got a little bit of like deep breadiness. It is doughy in a way. It's the vanilla thing is, delicious. The sweetness, the coconut is not like, you don't drink it and go like coconut water necessarily. It's just this like beautiful sweetness that adds to the whole thing. Like I think the best way I can describe it is it's genuinely like drinking a cookie, and it's
say less. Are you kidding me?
This
That's
brewery
incredible.
knows what they're doing around a dessert stout. Okay,
that's amazing.
So yeah, I better drink this slow. But there's no booziness at all when you drink it. No, like it does not taste like 12%, and that's scary because yeah,
yeah, that's funny.
Oh, we got to move on to Can Arts and Crafts, but I think we should mention the Brothers in Beer thing. That is a big part of their sort of mission. It started as a Facebook group where basically brewers in craft beer, brothers in craft beer, as they describe it, can share stories about their experiences of being Black in the industry. This is a big, I mean, obviously with Black is Beautiful, like this is a big issue in the beer industry that this company is largely responsible for shedding light on. But that started as a Facebook group, and now it's become this thing where there's like annual meetups nationwide. And they're just trying to, again, similar to that initiative I was talking about before, they're just trying to diversify the industry. That's just which is the best thing in the world. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that. On top of everything else,
they quote it as saying, "Taking on one city at a time, demonstrating the love and buying power people of color possess in the industry." I mean, there's nothing better than that, and you hit it right on the head. I mean, that's what we want to see more of.
Yeah, and I would say buying power and brewing power. I mean, it's creative. It's diversity leads to more creativity. It's just, I don't need to argue for diversity, but it's it's part of why our show is committed to featuring diverse breweries whenever we can, because genuinely they are. It's always the best episodes. It really is.
Yeah, it really is.
It's I can't say enough for it. So I love that they are committed to that mission, and they largely deserve most of the credit for their Black is Beautiful initiative and the different initiatives they have around raising awareness for the giant disparity that exists in the beer industry and helping to do what they can to sort of bridge that gap. And so any way we can ever support it, we want to be a part of it.
Absolutely. You see Weathered Souls beer, buy it. You see the Black is Beautiful, buy it. You don't want to drink it, give it to someone, gift it to someone, just get it.
And with that, we're going to bring out the man with the afro, Bob
What's
Ross.
his middle name today, Steven?
Bobbert Polonius Ross.
Can Art and Crafts.
Super fast edition of Can Arts and Crafts. Raze Some Helles. We got some fire bright orange, looks like it's hell writing. It just looks like fire. It looks like a barbecue. It looks dope. Afro blue, big, bold blue lettering, black background, super dope. Steven Strawberry guy. I mean, it looks like a strawberry. It's got some gold lettering to tell you what it is, and it looks literally like you're drinking out of a giant strawberry. And then his stout has the wrestlers on it. The man with the plan, Marcus, along with whoever that is. I'm sorry, I don't know who it is. It's got to be someone at the brewery or a loved one or a friend or who cares, but she looks great. They are holding championship wrestling belts. All the beer cans look incredible. They're bright. They're vibrant. They show you what the beer is. So without further ado, I'm giving the Can Art and Craft score a 1 out of 10. It's really bad. And it's Are you kidding me? I'm joking. Come on now. No way this brewery is not joining the club. The club is in. You're in the 10 out of 10 club. 10 out of 10, Can Arts and Crafts. If this beer is next to another beer, it outshines it. It pushes it away. It punches it in the mouth. And it says, hey, buy me, drink me, enjoy me. Bob Ross is here. He's already drunk from drinking half my stout. Son of a bitch. I tried to drink it and he wouldn't let me. But it's okay. He deserves it. And that is Can Arts and Crafts.
All right, we mentioned it before, but in terms of what they have on tap, I mean, you could go through their history of beers they've had in the past. It's insane, but we're just looking at their untapped beer menu for the last couple days, and we're seeing things like, and I don't approve of this, but it deserves to be said. There's a Brown Bag Lunches sour. It's a fruited sour with strawberries, graham crackers, and peanut butter. Have you ever heard of sour and peanut butter put into the same family?
Ooh, Gabe should try that one.
Steven does not approve of the whole... listen, peanut butter and beer...
He mentioned it, though. Progress, ladies and gentlemen. Progress. He brought it up.
It has to be said. What else am I supposed to do? They got plenty of these Imperial Stouts. There are a bunch of them. There's a triple IPA Michael J. Green!
Exclamation point!
That's
Michael
our
in
favorite.
the house. I'm looking at just the names. They have a great named one called Good, Not Bad. It's a wild ale. It sounds dope. They've got some hazelnut options. I'm sure hazelnut fudge pretzel. Steven, come on. I know you can't drink it, but like, can't you just be happy for me?
No, I'm not going to be happy.
It.
They also have another Imperial Stout with peanut butter, and I'm not happy about that either. I'm not going to support, but the sour had to demanded respect because nobody has ever done that in the history of beer ever.
Mankind.
But it's just such a diverse beer lineup. It's everything from lagers to ales, gozas to Imperial Stouts. They do a
lot of stouts. They do a lot of Imperial Stouts, which peanut butter, no jelly. Come on. Peanut butter French press. Come on. I need to stop
bringing those up. But
you need to get one of the, I want to do the pastry one now. I want that pastry stout ASAP, Rocky.
Plenty of West Coast Imperial IPAs, plus plenty of West Coast regular IPAs, and also a Doppelbock, a Schwartz beer. I mean, it's just so diverse that it's like
Mojito sour.
It deserves it. It is to be commended, and we love their experimentation, and it's beautiful. So if you're able to get there, I mean,
amen.
It's worth going to San Antonio just to visit this brewery, to be honest.
Hell yeah.
All right, we have to move on to our final segment, which is our last call.
Last call.
Well, pumpkin season is apparently upon us because a man in Missouri paddled 38 miles. Are you listening? 38 miles down the Missouri River in a hollowed out pumpkin. His name is Dwayne Hansen. He broke a world record, I would hope so, when he paddled the 38 miles. He is from Nebraska. He decided to celebrate his 60th birthday by doing this. It's a makeshift boat. First of all, where do you get the pumpkin? Second of all, there's got to be some science involved to hollow it out correctly. From the photo, it looks like there's a tiny circle on top, which would fit a beer. So Dwayne, well done. He turned 60. He dubbed the name Berta for the pumpkin, and he spent 11 hours paddling the 38 miles to Nebraska City, and we're here to talk about it. The journey aimed to break the Guinness World Record for the longest journey by pumpkin boat, which was set at 25.5 miles by North Dakota man Rick Swenson in 2016. He blew it out of the water. He's getting recognition. Holy shit.
Let's just stop at the previous record, which was 25.5 miles. Can I just say the Guinness World Record for longest journey by pumpkin boat should be one paddle. That should be the record. The fact that there are two people in the planet Earth that have ever had this thought is stunning to me. Like, that's the headline.
Hey, man.
The fact
people have time on their hands. People get bored.
Apparently.
People see things and go, huh.
If you haven't seen the picture, which, let's be honest, you haven't, because who knew about this? Google it. There's a picture of a man in an enormous pumpkin. It's a huge pumpkin, to Gabe's point. It's like, this is like one of those pumpkins that, like, you know, your state fair, like, this wins best pumpkin. You know, it's
wins
one
the
of those.
Blue ribbon. Yes,
yeah.
100%.
He's not riding around on, like, a little, like, like a basketball-sized jack-o'-lantern. Like, which
like,
is funny to envision if you...
There's no way that would keep you afloat. Like, this thing, he's
along.
fully sitting in it.
Yeah,
like
he made a
this
seat.
Yeah.
He worked it out. But the fact that there's another person before him had done that, and that there's a category, and like, when does Guinness stop? What can you? Because we could probably set a world record for something. I mean, it's like world record for the longest line ever drawn by a highlighter on parchment paper. Like, what is the limit that you can, like, recognize as a legitimate, like, Guinness Book of World Records thing?
Steven, I don't think there is a limit. I saw one recently.
Apparently not. The evidence is on your side on that.
A man set a Guinness World Record for breaking the most matches in a minute. Like, I don't, why? I don't get it, but that's what it is. And this guy in Missouri said, hold my beer. Let me grab this big ass pumpkin and paddle down a river. 11 hours.
Yeah, I'm just still hung up on the previous one, to be honest. I'm hung up on the fact that two people have done this. Also, he doesn't officially have the world record yet. It should
he
be
didn't
noted.
submit yet.
The evidence of the attempt, which I don't know what the evidence is. Like, there's pictures, so what more evidence do you need? But that needs to be submitted to Guinness for official recognition. This is insane, and this is, to me, look, I know I don't know a lot about Missouri or really the middle of the country in general, but this is why I would be afraid to live out there, because I'm like, this is what happens when you don't have...
You look stupid.
To me, I'm like, this is the residual effects of not living near an ocean. You just have nothing else to do, and you just hollow out a pumpkin and go paddle boating for 11 hours.
11 hours. I wouldn't be able to do it. I think after hour 2, I'd be like, I need a sandwich. I need a beer. I need ice. I need something. But this man just went and did it. And the quote says, "Congratulations, Dwayne, for smashing the world record." The city of Bellevue's Facebook post said, "The city, we are so proud that you started this record-breaking 38-mile journey." When you have a city backing you up, you've done something right, I guess.
How proud are they, though? Really? I mean, are they so proud? Are they so proud?
I mean, I don't know.
Should they be?
If someone did this from our hometown, I'd definitely give them a shout out. I'd be like, way to go, man.
If you told me somebody sat into a pumpkin in Hamden, Connecticut, I'd be like, I'd have the same questions.
Yeah.
I'd have the same questions. Along with, what river were you doing that in? Because there's not a lot of water in Hamden.
Well, yeah, that's true. What lake did you decide to paddle around in? I want to know how long it took to grow the pumpkin. Like, was this in Did this take years in the making? Did he steal this pumpkin from someone trying to win that ribbon?
Yeah, no
what's
way.
going on here?
He definitely bought this pumpkin off somebody. He was like, listen, man, I know you're growing this to win the #1 ribbon at the state fair, but I need to paddle down a river. And your pumpkin is going to be my boat. And, you know, what I do want to say in his defense is that this is him celebrating his 60th birthday. And you know what? Hats off, man. Have a party. Live your dream. I don't mean to make fun of it, but I find this very, very, very funny. And
honey, you're turning 60 next week. What do you want to do? Oh, I already got it covered. What are you doing with that paddle? Don't worry about it.
We're going boating. That's a great idea.
I'm going boating.
Yeah, I'm going alone, and I'm taking the pumpkin.
11 hours.
Well, Dwayne, you know, you're in better shape than we probably are. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah. You're 60. You probably don't look a day over 30.
Well
done, sir.
You know what he does look? Sunburned. I bet it was sunny out on that river.
Ooh.
Dwayne.
You didn't have room for sunscreen in that big ass pumpkin? Oh, okay.
Okay. That's such fun.
Let's
we
get
need to
out
go.
of here.
Weathered Souls Brewing. We can't say enough. Listen, they sent us their beer because they are just
amazing.
Dope like that, and their beer was everything we hoped it would be and more. We can't say enough, other than if you're in San Antonio or in the Texas market or soon to be the Charlotte market, get your hands on their beer. It is fantastic, and I'm going to be nursing this Imperial Stout for the rest of my evening.
True. Same here. Weathered Souls, thank you so much. Episode 123. It's easy to remember. It's a great episode. Check us out. Send us the DMs. Send us the beer invites. Please go visit this brewery. It's beer for a cause. It's not just beer to get drunk on. It's for good things, good people, good times. That's what we're all about. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. And the next time we see you, we'll be deep in football, baby. I'm bringing it back up.
I was going to bring it up if you weren't going to. Enjoy kickoff, enjoy Labor Day weekend, but mostly enjoy the start of the NFL season. Joseph.
Touchdown!
Yes, he agrees with us. And we go Pack Go. And
go Chargers, go.
We will, that's not a phrase. We will see you.
It is. Arnold Schwarzenegger did it. Look it up.
Okay, we're going to leave now. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Peace out, guys.
Peace. Where are the shades?